Yes, Gopiji. Unmute, Gopiji.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. I'm Gopi K, your host for today. On behalf of VHS Karnataka, very warm welcome to all the wonderful viewers for the 30th edition of Online Samvada. We had 29 amazing episodes of Samvada from VHS Karnataka until now, including last Friday, enlightening session on Teasers to Budget 2022 by Sri Dasji. Our civilization had ocean of knowledge, wisdom on innumerable fields. Whether it was astronomy, astrology, cosmology, spectrum of mathematics and science, metallurgy, arts, architecture, vastu, music, dance, yoga, meditation, medicine, warfare, philosophy, spirituality, economics, environment, the list goes on and on. For millennia, the knowledge was transferred from generation to generation through culture, values, and traditions in Akhanda Bharat. Many were on oral traditions for millennia, later translate into scriptures. Invaders, colonizers, and greedy misled brown sahibs tried to steal and destroy the civilization identity and wealth. Yes, they did damage to an extent, but we never lost our civilization wealth. Many of our forefathers sacrificed their lives to protect our civilization identity and wealth. If not for ancestors, we wouldn't be here like this today. We owe a lot to them, our ancestors. Thanks to all our ancestors for protecting Dharma. Bharatiya civilization is on the ascent again today. Reviving our true ancient knowledge and wisdom is our prime focus, so that we all can work on sustainable model in balance between all the life forms on the planet Earth. Very unfortunate, present Macaulay education system never mentioned about Rishi Kanad, who gives detail about atomic theory many millennium before anybody else on this planet. We have been told about Greek philosopher Democritus, 4000 BC, and modern atomic theory refers to John Dalton, but never about Rishi Kanad, who was from much earlier era of all. In VHS Karnataka Online Samvada, we are concentrating on exploring our ancient scriptures. To start with Dharmic Darshanas, out of 6 Darshanas, we have covered Yoga, Nyaya, Vedanta by our esteemed Dharmic scholars. To continue on the same parampara, today we will be covering VAISHESHIKA Darshana. To talk about that, we have a special guest speaker, Acharya Shrinidhi S. Pyati ji. Working as a research fellow in Purna Prajna Samshodaya Mandiram, Acharya Shrinidhi Pyati is a disciple of H.S. Sri Vishwesha Tirtha Swamiji, studied Vedanta and Nyaya Shastra in Purna Prajna Vidyapita, obtained BA in Vidwan Madhyama in Karnataka Sanskrit University, MA Acharya in Naveen Nyaya from Karnataka Sanskrit University, currently pursuing doctorate from Karnataka University. Obtained gold medal in Advaita Vedanta Shalaka competition, both in state and national level. Accomplished second highest honors at national level, both in debate and speech. Obtained highest honors in Nyaya Shastra and Shasata Vichara in state. I'm also joined by Sri Nikunchaji, our state president, Loiji, and our today's co-host. Without any further ado, on behalf of VHS Karnataka, I humbly request Acharya Shrinidhi ji to enlighten us on Vaisheshika Darshana. Acharya ji, please go ahead. Welcome, please.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Apadamauliparyantam Gurunam Akritim Smaret Tena Vignah Pranashyanti Siddhyanti Cha Manoratha. Distinguished members of VHS Karnataka and Gopi ji, Nikul ji, Lohit ji, Tejas ji. I'm being honored to place my views on Vaisheshika Darshana in this distinguished platform. So I also thank VHS Karnataka for having this kind of programs which are aimed to enlighten people on the darshanas. Today's darshana is, today we are going to talk about Vaisheshika Darshana. So as for beginners, there are 6 darshanas. We in India, in Bharata, we are concerned with 6 darshanas. In those 6 darshanas are basically categorized into in 2 divisions. I request Tejas to share the screen. So these darshanas have been divided into 2 categories. One is Astika Darshana and one is Nastika Darshana. So Astika Darshana, the famously known meaning of Astika is one who believes in the God, who is Astika. And Nastika means one who doesn't believe in the God. And there is another kind of categorization, which is traditionally old categorization, which is Vaidika Darshana and Avaidika Darshana. Vaidika Darshana means the Darshana which agrees Veda as a proof, pramana. So darshanas which doesn't agree Veda as pramana are Avaidika darshanas. So this Vaisheshika darshana fall under which category? That is the first thing I want to explain. The first, this categorization of Astika and Nastika doesn't fit completely, because some Astika darshanas doesn't agree that Veda is pramana. So our Sarvadarshana Sangrahakara, Sarvadarshana Sangraha is a treatise on all darshanas. In that, the Acharya has categorized it into ways. One is Vaidika Darshana and another is Avaidika Darshana. Vaidika Darshana, who agrees the supremacy of Veda. Avaidika Darshana, who doesn't agree the supremacy of Veda, who doesn't agree to the Veda at all. So this Vaisheshika Darshana is Vaidika Darshana. It means in Vaisheshika Darshana, they agree the Veda and they agree the supremacy of Veda, and in some content, in some meaning, we can say it is also Astika Darshan. But here debates goes on. This is interesting. Vaisheshika Darshana, I will explain it in little better. Vaisheshika Darshana's founder is Kanada. Kanada is the name of founder of Vaisheshika Darshana. So please go to next slide. So Kanada has two different other names also. So one is Aulukya and another is Kashyapa. So this Vaisheshika Darshana will be called as Aulukya Darshana also. In Sarva Darshana Sangraha, it is named as Aulukya Darshana, and it is Kanada also. So the name is very peculiar. Kanada is the name of the sage who found this darshana. So interesting story goes behind this name. Though Kanada sage, Kanada Rishi, used to do a vrata, which is called as Kapoti vrata. In that vrata, he does not use to collect grains for himself. He will not build stock in his home for his livelihood. He just goes to outside in the morning near to the farm, and after all farmers would take their grains to home, and after that, whatever left, the all birds will come and they will also take their part of that grain. And after that, whatever remains, the sage would collect that grain and he would take to home, and whatever he gets out of that, he will eat. Oh, this is one kind of vrata which was observed, which has been observed since ages, and it is also mentioned in the Bhagavata as a Shiloncha Vritti or Siloncha Vritti. So because he used to eat that kana means grain. So that's why kanan atti iti kanadaha. So kanada is named after his vrata. That's why he was famous as Kanada. And Aulukya means his father's name is Uluka. That's why he is called as Aulukya. So this is about the sage who found this darshan. After Kanada found his Vaisheshika Darshana, which is large as 10 chapter, and every chapter it is divided into 2 sub chapters, and it has nearly 330 sutras. So after this era, we will the commentary in India. What happens when the sage writes his sutras, and then after that commentary, some other people will come and start to write commentaries. But in the case of Kanada's Vaisheshika Darshana, we will observe the gap in the commentary parampara. So when sage Kanada wrote this Vaisheshika Darshana or Vaisheshika Sutra, after many centuries, Prashastapada came and wrote a bhashya, and he also authored a separate work on Vaisheshika Darshana, which is called as Padartha Dharma Sangraha. Unfortunately, today Vaisheshika Bhashya is not available with us, but Padartha Dharma Sangraha of Prashastapada is available with us. That is the oldest authentic text on Vaisheshika Darshana after Vaisheshika Sutra. And after that, there is a the Udayana Acharya. He authored a Kirinavali, which is also a commentary on Prashastapada's Padartha Dharma Sangraha. But in between Padartha Dharma Sangraha and Vaisheshika Sutra, there were a lot of bhashyas, but unfortunately we have lost those, like Bharadwaja's Vritti and Ravana, the one sage called Ravana, he wrote bhashya on Vaisheshika Sutra, but unfortunately we don't have today with us. But this is the commentary and sub commentaries on Vaisheshika Sutras. And after that, lot of commentaries are there. 15th century, there is a person called Shankara Mishra, Vidwan called Shankara Mishra. He wrote a traditional Sifton nowadays. So this is the outlier of Vaisheshika Darshan. Now we will move into what they actually tell in Vaisheshika Sutras. Vaisheshika Darshana, we'll go to the next slide. So in Vaisheshika Darshana, they have agreed upon, they have agreed that there are 7 padarthas. Okay. And here we need to observe that Nayayikas also, Nyaya Darshana also agrees that there are 7 padarthas. And Vaisheshika Darshana also agrees that there are 7 padarthas. But Vaisheshika Darshana is older than Nyaya Darshana. What happened in the time, after some time, Vaisheshika Darshana and Nyaya Darshana have been merged as a one Darshana. Because of that, this Vaisheshika Darshana's study was slowed down, because everyone were concentrating on Nyaya Darshana. Vaisheshika Darshana will be taught only as a reference to the Nyaya Darshana. Wherever conflict arise in between Vaisheshika and Nyaya Darshana, there that part only they would look upon, and that conflict they will try to erase the contradiction. So because of that, what happens after sometimes this Nyaya Darshana only got highlighted in the education system. Vaisheshika Darshana got one step back. So nobody after that in Gurukula traditional system, Nyaya was a prominent darshan. So this is in Gurukula traditional system also, you cannot find a department for Vaisheshika Darshan. But now the people are more getting interested in Vaisheshika Darshan, and they're again starting to understand the concepts of Vaisheshika Darshan. So they say there are 7 padarthas. Actually, Kanada Maharshi in his sutras only mentioned 6 padarthas. That is, those are Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya. Dravya means substance, Guna means quality, Karma means motion or action, and Samanya means generality, and Vishesha means uniqueness, and Samavaya means inherence. So here you can observe that here Vaisheshika Darshana is named on a padartha which is uniquely proposed by Kanada Maharshi. That padartha is Vishesha, because Kanada Maharshi proposed Vishesha padartha in his system that was unique till that time. That's why this darshana is called as Vaisheshika Darshana. So Vishesha is a padartha, and because they agreed to that padartha or they proposed that padartha, that darshana is called as Vaisheshika Darshana. And this category is very interesting. And this is, you can say that they have tried to do, peculiar division and subdivisions, which will be used till date. If you go to the Tarka Sangraha also, this division is only carried away from that time also. So this is very unique in the sense of that. And here, and next slide, we'll move to the next slide. Here, okay, so this is the outlier. So how they have agreed to the seven padarthas, and what is the aim of Vaisheshika Darshan? So we always say that the Vaisheshika Darshan, we always say the Sanatana Dharma and Hindu Dharma. We use the word Dharma many times in our life, but the definition of Dharma is not clearly mentioned. Some people got carried away that, and they compare it to the religion. And we say that Dharma is not religion, Dharma is different from the religion. But when they ask that what is the Dharma, then what is the definition for Dharma? That in the previous slide, you can observe that definition of Dharma is clearly mentioned by Kanada. The fourth one. So he says that Yato Abhyudaya Nishreyasa Siddhihi Saha Dharmaha. The previous one. Yato Abhyudaya Nishreyasa Siddhihi Saha Dharmaha. So he clearly says that Dharma is from which we get this both. What are both he wants to say? One is Abhyudaya, another is Nishreyasa. Abhyudaya is a knowledge of the essence. One Vyakyanakara says it is a knowledge of essence. Knowledge of essence means There are, it is Vaisheshika Darshana mostly concentrates on material padarthas, and it try to identify the, similarities and dissimilarities between padarthas. So one who gets to know those kind of similarities and dissimilarities, and after he gets to know the essence of the knowledge, uh, that comes from dharma. So the dharma which helps us to get this knowledge of essence and nishrayasa. End of the day, dharma's ultimate goal is to get moksha. So moksha means final cessation of pain. So where we don't experience pain, that statehood will be called as moksha. So so these two, the one is progress, okay, which can be material progress or which can be spiritual progress, and another is the liberation or moksha. So uh, these two tattvas can we can have these two tattvas from dharma. So if we have these two tattvas from dharma, then it will be called as dharma. Other than if it is not provided by dharma, if these two tattvas are not provided by dharma, then that cannot be called as dharma. So here we can distinguish between religion and the definition of religion and dharma. So this is the unique definition, because we normally hear that dharana dharma ityahuhu, dharmo dharayate praja. All those definitions are famous, but this definition is not famous. So I said in previous slide that the aim is to get liberation, aim is to get moksha. So how in Vaisheshika Darshana they think that they would get moksha? In the Kannada, sage Kannada says, Padarthanam sadharma vaidharmyabhyam tattva-jnanat nishrayasam. It is very interesting that he says that I have described six padarthas, and I will describe, similarities, resembles, and non-similarities between those padarthas. So one who carefully observes the padarthas and one who get to know the resemblance and non-resemblance between those padarthas, end of the day, uh, in this process, he will get to know the essence of knowledge, and he will get to know the Atma Swarupa. So when he gets to know the Atma Swarupa, there will be no sorrow, and after that he will not do any further action. If he doesn't do the any further action, there will be no further janma. If there is no further janma, then it is called as a moksha, nishrayasa. So there are peculiar words used in the Indian darshanas. So many times we carried away with the word moksha. Actually, there is a particular word for every darshana. Like nishrayasa is a word for Vaisheshika Darshana, and moksha is for Vedanta. Like that, there are, and that word is conceptualizes the essence of the concept of liberation in that particular darshan. So we need to be careful when we translate these words. So this is the this is how they get their uh, liberation from this world in Vaisheshika Darshan. So this is this is very basic thing that we can observe in the Vaisheshika Darshanas. And next slide, we are going into the deep. Now we have covered the outer layer and we understood the essence. And now we will go into the peculiarities of the Darshana. In Vaisheshika Darshana, there are a lot of peculiarities. I will address some of those. The first one is principle of Adrishta. The Kannada believes that this world is formed because of the Adrishta. His belief was that the formation of the world is the result of Adrishta. What is Adrishta? Adrishta is unseen force. which can be created by doing action, karma. So when you do karma, you have adrishta for yourself. So that is called as adrishta. This is very different theory proposed by Kanada Maharshi. Actually, after some time, after commentaries started written for the Vaisheshika Darshana, here he says that the result of the formation of the world is the result of adrishta. Here you can clearly observe that he is not mentioning the God. That's why there is a debate happens in the academic circle, that is the Vaisheshika Darshana is Astika Darshana or Nastika Darshana. Because the the Vaisheshika Darshana clearly agrees the Veda, agrees the Veda Pramanya. But Vaisheshika, in the Vaisheshika Sutra, there is no mention of God. So it is very, it's very unbelievable that he blended two things in the one darshana, that he doesn't agree to the God, maybe from one point of view, and he also agrees the Vedas. But after the commentaries, Prashastapada started writing commentaries after some centuries. So he clearly says that no, in Kanada Sutra there is a mention of God. He says that there is one sutra called Tadvachana Damnayasya Pramanyam. The Kanada Maharshi wants to set the Pramanya of Veda. There is one sutra, Tadvachana Damnayasya Pramanyam. Tadvachana means, the Prashastapada says, the Vedas are narrated by, because the Vedas are narrated by, or because the Vedas are have come out of God, the Vedas are Pramanas. Here there is a two kind of belief system in Vaisheshika Darshana. One says that Tadvachana Damanayasya Pramanyam. Here Tat, he doesn't, he is not mentioning the God, he is mentioning the Dharma itself. Because Veda is mentioning Dharma, that's why Veda is Pramana. So other stream of in other stream, they say that the here Tat word, the word Tat mentions the God. So there is but clearly there is no mention of God in Vaisheshika Darshana. So Prashastapada says this world is created by God. But the sutra, in the sutra, there is no clearly mention of God. So this is the unique blend of agreeing Veda but not agreeing God clearly. That's why he says that this world is created because of the Adrishta. Adrishta is the cause for this creation. And the second main important aspect in this Vaisheshika Darshana is the atomic theory of universe. I will explain this in the detail after some slides. So in Vaisheshika system, the formation of the world is supposed to be affected by aggregation of the atoms. So this is the atom theory. So they believe that the ultimate block of this universe is atom. Okay. And after that they concentrate on what is the birth and what is the death and what is the moksha, what is the bondage, and how to get away from this bondage, how to get how to be free from this samsara. So uniqueness is that he in this Vaisheshika Darshana, what we are now lacking in our mainstream studies, that we can observe in this Vaisheshika Darshana. That is the blend of science and materialistic science. At the end of the day, Vaisheshika Darshana is physics of nature. It observes the nature. But in that Vaisheshika Darshana, in 5th chapter, we can observe that he proposes the donation. He proposes the how to receive, who are able to receive the donation. So he talks about those things also. He talks about yajna and all those things also. So in now what happened is that if you want to study all these kind of things, you need to go with the humanities stream. And if you want to study the nature, you should go to the uh, science stream. Here in Vaisheshika Darshana, you can observe the both stream in one darshan. So maybe he wants to propose that in the when you study the science, there must be a holistic approach. There must be a humanitical approach also in your study. That is my understanding of Vaisheshika Darshan. So this is the a brief understanding of what they propose in their Vaisheshika Darshana. And the next, we will be concentrating on the important theory of Vaisheshika Darshana, that is atomic theory. So this is when we search about atomic theory, we will get the mention of many Western philosophers who talked about the atom. But Kanada, in that time itself, he talked about the atoms, and he described how atom looks and what is the characteristics of atoms. So according to Vaisheshika, the smallest particle is called as Tresarenu. Tresarenu is the word given to the smallest perceivable particle. Okay, so that is called as Mahat. And this Tresarenu is made of three parts. Tresarenu, as you can observe the name itself, Tresarenu, there is a three. So this is these are made of three parts, each one of which are defined as Dvenuka. So if we combine three Dvenukas, then one Tresarenu, we can produce one Tresarenu. Dvenuka are conceived as made of two parts. So in one Dvenuka, there are two parts. And each Dvenuka will be having one Paramanu in itself. So when you combine two Paramanu, you get Dvenuka, and that is one Dvenuka. Like that, if you combine three Dvenukas, you get one Tresarenu. That is Mahat. That is the perceivable object, least perceivable object, smallest perceivable object. And what about the Paramanu then? So Paramanus are indivisible and eternal, and they can neither be created nor destroyed. And the important thing is that Paramanu possesses its own distinct. So this is very interesting that he says that Paramanu possesses its own distinct. That is called as Vishesha. When I told in the previous slide that they agree to the Vishesha, there is a Padartha called Vishesha in Vaisheshika Darshana. That Vishesha is a characteristics of Paramanu, because they agreed that Paramanu has this special characteristics which is named as Vishesha. That's why this Darshana is called as Vaisheshika Darshana. So this is very interesting that in that era itself, Kanada Maharshi has explained the characteristics of Paramanu, and he proposed that the atom is ultimate building block of this universe. And sorry, okay. Okay. So now, if you look this atomic theory in this view, the atom, whenever we think about the atom and its characters, we always give credit to the Aristotle or some other Greek philosophers. But way before, or because we don't know the exact dating of Kanada Maharshi, we assume that it is 6 BCE. If you go by that logic, the Kanada Maharshi has proposed this way before than any other philosophers around the world. And this is very interesting, and I will explain this in my next slide. That he explained that Sadakaranavan Nityam. So his explanation of atomic theory is proposed in this sutra, which says Sadakaranavan Nityam. So he says that it is Sat, means it is essence of the world. Okay, Sat, existence, the essence of material existence. It is Akaranavat, which has no cause or born or exists, but it exists on its own without a cause. And Nityam, the eternal or permanent. So this sutra need to be taught in our schools, because this is the oldest, or we can say that maybe not oldest, but whoever now we think that proposed the characteristics of atom, that this theory can predate that. So we need to educate our young generation about Vaisheshika Darshan. And so this is one. And another thing is that when I started to study this Vaisheshika Darshana, a lot of people were saying that no, there is a mention of gravity in Vaisheshika Darshana. Yes, of course, there is a mention of gravity in Vaisheshika Darshana, because clearly in Vaisheshika Darshana, we can find the explanation and categorization about the motions. So he says that Utshepana, Apakshepana, Akunchana, Prasarana, Gamana, iti karmani. Okay. So here, when he explains in the next slide, when he explains the Utshepana, he says that Gurutva Prayatna Sanyoganam Utshepanam. So this is the word-to-word translation I am giving, because some people may think that we are just throwing something which is not there. But this is the proof that it says that Kshepanam, throwing upward motion, is effect Gurutva Prayatna Sanyoganam, of conjunction of gravity and effort. It means throwing upward motion is the effect of conjunction of gravity and effort. So here the Gurutva, the word used for the gravity is Gurutva. So if you go back to the word gravity and its origin, it is in its origin it was called as gravitas. So gravitas may have some link with Gurutva, because Kanada Maharshi especially used that word, the Gurutva. So he says that Gurutva is a cause for the upward motion, and the effort of a person who is throwing that object in the sky, or that is also one of the cause for the upward motion. So this is a very interesting subject for many scientists or many enthusiastic people who are have interest in science. They can study and they can try to understand this concept, and they can build something on this, because we don't have any strong scientific background. So we cannot look in that lens. But some people who have that kind of interest and have that kind of knowledge in the science, modern science, they can they can think about it and they can study the Vaisheshika Darshana deeply, especially to help you. There are first four chapters are basically concerned about matters and mind and space and time. All these things are like when you study the classical physics, they have also categorized they have also studied on these subjects, space, matter, and all these subjects. So like that, this actually this samvada is mean to regenerate the interest in the people who have lineage towards science, and they come to the roots and they start study the Vaisheshika Darshan. In the process, I to generate the credibility. Uh, I will talk these things. To generate the credibility of Vaisheshika Darshana, I will talk these things. So there is one, one one paper I saw, or one poster I saw in the internet, uh, which says that laws of motion, Newton versus Rishi Kanada. uh, Thief Newton copied Rishi Kanada's Vaisheshika Sutra as it is. So this is the this there may some people who claim this, that Kanada Rishi's ideas were stolen by Newton. But the problem is that when you claim these kind of things in the public domain, you need to verify the claim itself, and the proof you're giving to claim that kind of concept. So the first, so he says that vegaha nimitta visheshat karmanaha jayate. So he says that this is the word of Kanada, but I didn't find any sutra which is looks like this. And next sutra which says vegaha nimittapekshat karmana jayate niyatadik kriya prabandha hetu. This is also I verified with Kanada Sutra, which I am currently working on. Actually, this is the project of central government where we are doing a dictionary on Shad Darshanas. Yoga Darshana dictionary has been completed, and Sankhya Darshana's Kosha has been completed. And now we are working on Vaisheshika and Nyaya. So I did not find any kind of sentence like this in Vaisheshika Sutra. And the third one also, Vegaha Sanyoga Vishesha Virodhi. This also I did not find. So what happens when you make this kind of claim? If you don't find any proof which you are producing as a proof, if you go to the source and if you don't find that, that means that the credibility crisis will happen slowly on the text itself. So we are making we are not helpful in this matter. So so whenever we get these kind of claims, we need to verify with the sources. So what I did with it. So that is not a true statement. And next claim is that this claim is which look authentic, and it doesn't say that Newton stolen the concept of Kanada. Some says that it may be it is the possible that he may read somewhere about this concept, or maybe he didn't read, but two parallel thinking were exist in that time. So it doesn't mean that someone stolen someone's work. And in other claim, he says that Sanyoga Vibhaga Veganam Karma Samanam. With this sutra, the translator translates that if two bodies have to collide or move away, the cause is common, which is karma. This is fair. There is no problem. This is one. This can be analyzed in this way. But the next sutra, which says that na dravyanam karma. Next slide. Na dravyanam karma. So here he says the karma cannot come from the bodies, it has to be external. This analyzing this sutra in this way is not correct, because the Prashastapada or other commentators have not interpreted this sutra with this regard, in this sense. So they say that karma action does not create any substance. So that is the essence of this sutra. And to to take away the original meaning and to form some meaning which is near to the law of motion, which can create a conflict in the studies of Vaisheshika Darshana. So so when so if so there is a concept, so you can observe this in the next slide. You can observe the credible translation of the sutra, na dravyanam karma, which is na karma but motion, dravyanam of material entities. It is the not motion is the cause of material entities or substances. So this is the essence of this sutra. And we cannot take that sutra and claim that this was the idea, idea near to the concept of law of motion produced by the Newton. But there is there are many other things which has been produced, which has been written by many people. One book I want to mention here, the Physics of Vaisheshika, which I have used as a credible source for my presentation. If you know the Samskrita, you can use the Vaisheshika Darshana, which is edited by K.T. Pandarangi, and which is product of Dvaita Vedanta Foundation. If you don't know the Samskrita, and if you want to study, and if you want to have a insight of classical physics and comparative study of classical physics with the Vaisheshika Darshana, you can borrow this, you can buy this book called The Physics of Vaisheshika, which is published by the Tirupati University. So end of the day, we can say that the Vaisheshika Darshana is purely focused on the material based world, and it observed the material based world in detail, and it has described the many things, space, time. Actually, we don't give credit for giving a characterization of space and time to the Kannada, but we need to give that credit to the Kannada. But in that sense, we need to go to the source. We need to learn. We need to learn the sutras. We need to study the bhashyas, and we need to understand the view of Kannada from his sutras itself. So in that process, the who may know that some unbelievable things also can be can be found. So there is one scientist called scientist who wrote this book, Physics of Vaisheshika, and it's very credible. And he learned this Vaisheshika Darshana from K. Devanathan, and it has a forward from Subhash Kak, who is very famous known scientist, and is a well-known Samskrita Vidwan. So this is the essence of Vaisheshika Darshana, which believes in Veda and Chaturvarga, which are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And it is the essence of the Vaisheshika Darshana is to get away, get the how to release our bondage with this world. For that, you need to observe the world perfectly, and you need to rid out of this false knowledge. When you get rid of false knowledge, you will have the correct knowledge or pure knowledge about his Atma, when he has that knowledge, there are no false knowledge, and because of false knowledge only we create more actions. So when there is no action, you will not have another birth. That is the stage of liberation for the Vaisheshikas. So with these words, I will conclude uh, uh, my presentation. Uh, if there are any questions regarding this presentation or uh, regarding the view of Vaisheshika Darshana, I'm more than happy to answer. Or if there is a chance of Samvada also, I'm ready to happen. So with this word, I will conclude my presentation.
Thank you, Dhanyawad ji. Lohit ji, Lohit bhai.
Yes.
Yes, please. Any questions? I mean, like, any discussions? Hello.
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
One question. Let me go one question. Okay. Lohit ji, you have a question? Please go
Nihal,
ahead.
you present the question. You present. I'll come back.
Okay. Acharya ji, like you mentioned about one of the slides, you mentioned the family tree structure, right? And the structure, the substance you mentioned, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 9 elements are there, like in a materialistic world, right?
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
it's like what earth means like bhumi, whatever it is, bhumi, or it
Yes,
could be any
yes.
planet.
Prithvi, Apu, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, Kala, Dik, Atma, Manamsa. So these are.
So fire is,
Hmm.
fire is one of the element, energy or fire, whatever we call it as, water, air. But also you mentioned about ether. What is the exact word in Sanskrit? Mein?
For
Ether, is it? You mentioned ether.
Prithvi, Prithvi, Prithvi.
Oh,
Hmm.
Prithvi is there, earth is there,
Hmm.
water is there, fire is there, air is there, ether, time, and space and direction, and soul, is it? Soul and mind.
Yes.
So that means our today, like our science, like we only talk about uh, only few dimensions. Like we talk about Earth, materialistic. If you look at the atoms, to the planets, to the space, we also talk about ether, and also time also will take it, and direction, space also will talk. But we don't talk about Atma or mind in current.
That is a
In the current what do you call science, modern science, we never
yes,
talk about Atma and mind. So
yes.
Kannad was mentioning about these two also included into the material
As a,
substance.
yes, substance. Yes, these are substance.
I think maybe we need somebody who can clarify this better, like what exactly mean by these two.
So you are talking about the Atma and Manas. Yes.
Yes, yes, Atma
So,
and Manas.
yeah, yeah. So basically, the characteristics of Dravya is something which has quality and action. According to Vaisheshika Darshana, the characteristics of Dravya, substance, is one which has action, which is karma, and one which has guna. So he doesn't do this. He doesn't categorize on the basis of material or non-material. Okay. So there are. It is the blend of material and non-material thing. He combines it and he calls it as a substance. So in this category, in substance category, he included the mind and the atma also, and mind
Yes,
which perceives the knowledge. and Atma has no work in perceiving the knowledge.
I think maybe.
And
Go ahead.
that is what I told you. In the modern science, it is completely based on materialistic observations. But when we study the Vaisheshika Darshana, even though it concerns with the materialistic approach to the world, and it wants to find out the resemblance and non-resemblance in padarthas, in substances, or in any materials, but the end approach is to realize self. Okay.
So how many sorry, go ahead.
Huh?
How many slokas are there in Vaisheshika Darshana?
No, it is not. It is not in the formation of shlokas. It is the formation in the sutras. Sutras.
Sorry.
Yeah, sutras. There are the numbers vary, but we can say that there are around 330 sutras are there. Unfortunately, when Kannada has written this Vaisheshika Sutra, there are no early stage bhashya for us now. We should rely on the Prashastapada's Grantha. So sometimes what happens, there are vary in the number. Some says that it is 345, some says that it is 330. So it concerns.
But
we have lost many sources.
Okay, so I mean, for personally, how many you might have read? I mean, you might have read all of them, is it? So
The sutras.
all of the sutras.
Yeah. Sutras in the Vaisheshika Darshana, I read the sutras and its basic meaning, but we are detailed analysis of the sutras are completed for the 2 chapters.
Okay, so but that means like interpretation might be, unless until we have the modern science, we cannot at this point interpret it. I mean, what is the difference and what is, I mean, that
yes.
is lacking now.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I said. When someone who has the deep understanding in the science, he should stick with someone who had deep understanding in Sanskrit. Then what happens? The balance will be created. Other than what happens, someone with the background of science, he may think that it is being it is being near to him when he observes the sutras. In the sense that in the parampara, it is not being it's not interpreted in that way. So that is the problem we are facing now. So we need to bring these 2 persons together.
Loiji, go ahead, please.
Namaste, Acharya ji. Firstly, it's very nice to know that you're doing research in this field, which is Vijnana and Adhyatma mixed together. Unfortunately, the way it is being seen across is that we are just people who worship God. That's what the whole thing is about. But then actually, the way you presented Vaisheshika Darshana of Rishi Kanada, this is the essence of Hindu Dharma. The Vijnana part, which has always been there, which has gone always parallel. Unfortunately, as we understand, during the colonial invasion, more than the Islamic invasion, during the colonial invasion, lot of our texts were stolen. This is what is the understanding. And what you mentioned about Isaac Newton and this thing reference that he may have accidentally found it. The thing is, our texts were stolen, this we know. A lot of universities were burned and texts were stolen. And the technologies were stolen. We always had this balance between Vijnana and Adhyatma. That is why we never went against the Prakriti. But then today, the Western capitalistic way of life has destroyed the earth in last 100 years with this modern industrialization where they used only technology, Vijnana, without Adhyatma. And today that we are seeing all this, the pala, karma pala, whatever is happening throughout, So it's very nice that you brought this one aspect of one Rishi Kannada. I'm sure there are many, many more. And it's very nice to know that this presentation is there. And this is what a lot of youth, especially like you, who have brought this, and more research has to go into this kind of study. And as we know, one of the most earliest, the Puranas say, the earlier scientific evidence also shows one of the biggest research person was Rishi Agastya, right from the four yugas. We have to do a study of the Rama Setu, how that was built. It was built. We say the Ram Nama was written on the this is our Puranas also. The Ram Nama was written on each of the bricks, and the bricks were placed to. But then we have to also understand that Ashta Siddhar gave the technology, the molecular technology to make those bricks which work on the water. And there's so many other things, especially in the south with the building of all our ancient temples, how atomic technology, how molecular technology, as you've been presenting, have been used to carve stones to make various artifacts out of this. So we always had this. There's not much research which has gone into this. So I would like to know from you that what is that you feel on the subject that I just discussed? How far can we take this? One is, yes, Paramatma, we have the Atma, Paramatma, we have the Dvaita, Advaita, we are doing that. That is all part of Hindu culture and all that. But this part, what we have brought in today in this topic, is a very vital topic for the entire world to study as a research subject, not just the relation between Atma and Paramatma, but the Vijnana, the Veda, the Satya, I mean the universal theory, the atomic theory. So this is what this, and I would like to know from you how much research is going on, and it's really nice to know that people like you are devoted towards this, the Vijnana part of the Hindu culture, and how to take this forward with people like you together.
First of all, thanks for your kind words. My thinking is that we were strong in Shilpa Shastra. We were strong in architecture. Because the of Vaisheshika
Audio. Acharya, the audio is gone. Okay. Yeah, now it's fine.
Can you listen now?
Yes.
So that's why this the padartha, what I taught, what I explained, the categorization of padarthas in the starting. The same categorization is used as the basics of Shilpa Shastra and as the basics of Ayurveda, and many other darshanas has used this. So they have built their own technology, and Ayurveda has built its own technology with this categorization. So it means that there is something that we can look upon, look deep into this, and one thing I am concerned about that the claim nowadays. What happens is there is lot of things from our past we need to be pride of ourselves. But that what happens when we don't dig into deep and we don't approach it in a right way. We want to have pride, but we don't know for which for which action of our ancestors we need to have pride. So there is a gap in between connection. That's why we take whatever people throw at us, we will buy it, and we will say that, oh no, this is our pride and all those things. End of the day, sometimes after what happens, someone will come and say that, oh no, this is hoax. So that is my concern, that we need to have a strong research mind people who are devoted in both Samskrita and practical sciences like physics, chemistry, and all those things. If we combine those two people, there's a lot of possibility in this field on the strong evidence-based research. And another thing is, in the one place we are being lazy, is that reclaiming our sources, like for the organic farming. This is actually is our product, and it is clearly mentioned by the British scientist that the organic farming was very high when he visited the India, and he gives credit to us. Actually, he gives credit to us, but we forgot, we don't read those texts, and we don't claim that. So that kind of reclaiming claim, we should make a claim with strong evidence, with documentarian evidence, and with solid proof. We should make a, and there's a possibility, lot of possibility. But the this uh, pride thing should be there. I understand that is the essence of the nations, but on the basis of that pride, we should have a strong evidence based research methodology, and those people who are willing to work on that spectrum.
It's very nice, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions, Tejas, from the audience or something?
I have a question actually, Acharya ji, namaste. We know that Vaisheshika Darshana has, like, it is based on 9 so like we can elements of dravya, maybe substance we can say, but it is also called as Aulukya Darshana. So why exactly? Can you shed light on that?
Yeah, the sage Kanada's father name was Uluka. And
Okay.
there is another story,
Yes.
which is in Parampara, which says that the Paramashiva in the form of the Uluka gave knowledge to Kanada. That's why this darshan is called as Aulukya darshan. So that is
Okay.
also interpretation. The credible maybe the both interpretation may be right, but that every in every commentary we can observe that the father's name of Kanada was Uluka. That's why it is called as Aulukya.
So also Acharya ji, like Vaisheshika system of philosophy, we have all the 6 paramanas like Advaita Vedanta.
No,
Is it?
no, they agree only to the agree with 2 pramana. That is that there is where the Nyaya Darshana and Vaisheshika Darshana differs from each other. Vaisheshika Darshana agrees to the Pratyaksha and Anuman inference, and Nyaya agrees to 4 pramanas. So there is a difference in agreeing on the pramana system. Vaisheshikas agrees only 2 pramanas. Pratyaksha and Anuman. And for the clarity, after the commentary, Vyoma Shivacharya is one of the commentator. He says that no, we agree 3rd pramana also, that is Shabda word. We agree that pramana also, but majorly people say that commentators say that we agree to the 2 pramanas.
Okay. That's it from my end.
Okay. Thank you. Nikunj, any other things? Okay. On behalf of VHS
Rohit, is got
Karnataka,
any other questions, Rohit?
Yeah, we are fine with this today's episode.
I think I would say I think we need to do more research on this, because the research is like still in the very what do you call, infancy stage. So once we do more and more research, then we would be able to get a better understanding and analyze it better. Whether see, we know definitely, as Lohit Bhai has mentioned, Europeans took a lot of knowledge base from India when they try to came for business, and also when they try to occupy or colonize us. They took a lot of technology from us, and it's not that we are saying that it's ours, but at the same time, like, we need to have a more research on this, like where they took it from, and they also destroyed a lot of our what do you call, libraries that are there, because then if the original archives or original scriptures are gone or missing, and how can you say that? I mean, there is no link between here and there, unless until we have to find out. Somebody other day I was talking to somebody, they were saying that there hell lot of books are lying down in many of the British museums and the American museums of Indian origin, ancient scriptures. So which, I mean, we don't have an access to. Even Rajiv Malhotra you mentioned, I think many of others also mentioned they have like huge amount of volumes of scriptures that is lying down there, and there I think it's time for us to bring it back or take it and have a look into it, and maybe do more and more research so that we can have a credible sources saying that, hey, it's, yeah, we have done this and you took it from us. So and I think it's time to say, on behalf of VHS Karnataka, I thank Acharya Shrinidhi Pyati ji for accepting and request and enlightening on Vaisheshika Darshana. Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thanks to all VHS team for
Dhanyavad.
educating people
Correct,
on the
correct.
Vaisheshika Darshan and arranging these kind of uh, because nowadays we will in the YouTube content we always we only find the nonsense contents, but we need these kind of contents who will encourage young generations to study, or at least to to know that these kind of granthas exist in the libraries in so thanks for having me on this platform, and thanks to VHS.
And thank you, Nikunji. Thank you, Lohit
Thank
ji.
you very much.
And thank you to all our technical team and
Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad.
Tejas, Sri Iyer ji, sorry, not Sri Iyer, so Tejas, Ishwar Iyer ji, Rakesh ji. Last but not least, thank you all the wonderful viewers for making this Samvada very successful. Stay safe, and please do register at vhsindia.org for further amazing online sessions and VHS Karnataka Samvada. Dhanyavad. Jai Shri Ram.